What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a brand new Madden 26 rebuild as voted on by you guys in the comments on our last rebuild of the Tennessee Titans. And I'm going to be honest, this is the team that I was leaning towards rebuilding next anyways, because I've got a couple franchises under my belt here now. I've seen, upwards of 30 seasons in Madden 26, and the one team that I've yet to see be good, that has an interesting core, that has potential to be good, is the Titans. Cam Ward, more often than not, is very much he might have almost more picks than touchdown type quarterback that I've seen in Sim. Now, is Cam Ward going to be that bad in real life? I'm a fan of Cam Ward. I think it was a weak quarterback class, sure, however you want to break that down, but there's still plenty to like about his game. I like all the reports out of camp that he's like trying to fist fight Jeffery Simmons. Like he's mentality, the type of guy that's going to help the Titans rebuild that program. And I think there's a player here that we can build, grow, develop into an eventual Super Bowl winner. So looking at the rest of the offense, not knowing really the potential ceiling of Cam Ward, we're all going to experience that together. If we're going to view this within a 5-year scope, who is going to be contributing to this team in 5 seasons? The running back room is cause for concern. Maybe Spears, but like Tony P's probably got a year or two left before he hits that death period for a running back where regression starts to sit in. And we are Tony P fans on the channel, even when he was on the bad guys before he made the move to Tennessee. Calvin Ridley is, I think, an underrated player, but in the context of Madden, he's pretty much at the end of his prime right now. You have Tyler Lockett, who is past his prime. You got DK, the rookie wide receiver from Florida, who is shocking to me as a Gator fan that he got a hidden dev trade. It was honestly shocking that he ran, like, what was it, 4.3 or something like that at the combine. Didn't really see that on tape either, but that's pretty sick. And we are in a business of not high ceiling players, so anybody that has a dev trait, we got to get them on the field and see if they can develop. So that is what we're going to do with DK. We have the Canadian here right behind the webcam, Alec Manor, the rookie out of Stanford. We're going to try to get him popping off as well. Very talented player. You also have Restrepo, teammates with Cam Ward. Yes, he ran like a 4.8 at wide receiver, but like, that's just another guy that could be an eventual option. The tight end room looks solid. This is probably one of the only position groups on this team, offense, defense, special teams, that I think we might be able to grow and develop these guys. Okonkwo is still a player that could have untapped potential and increase his ceiling. If not, we have the rookie out of Texas, Gunnar Helm, with his dev trait that could develop into a player for us. Offensive line, Zeitler 91 overall is like the highest rated player on this team, but he is a prime candidate to retire in our first offseason, so that's not ideal. Cushenberry is solid. Dan Moore is, we're probably got to replace that left tackle sooner or later. I think Skoronski, 77 star dev, and Latham, 78 star dev, first round pick from a year ago. Those are the only 2 guys on the offensive line that, when this team is ready to compete, are probably going to be here. So having to replace 3 linemen is never particularly fun to do because you got to use some of your top draft capital. Into the defense. The secondary is interesting. We have Hooker. I'm actually going to put Winston in at free safety. Pretty much the same reason and justification of giving like DK the start over a Tyler Lockett. Like, we just got to get our potential high ceiling players on the field as soon as possible. Same with Oladejo, the pass rusher from UCLA. It's kind of a toss-up between him and Jones, but he has a much higher ceiling, so we got to get him on the field. The rest of the linebacking core is, I'm going to be honest, kind of concerning. 5-year scope. Who's going to, unless we get one of these normal dev guys. Williams, converted safety from Miami. We got Gray. I think he's North Carolina. If one of those guys gets a dev trait, maybe, but there is a pretty good shot out of his whole linebacking core. Oladejo is the only starter come year 3, even maybe year 4 of this rebuild. We got L'Jarius Sneed, 84 superstar, but he's pretty much near the end of his prime. McCreary's a dude. Brownlee, 73 is solid. Again, you got Baker, 76. Could be worse overall for the secondary. Could be a lot better. Defensive line, Joseph Day is kind of just a solid veteran. You got Tavondre Sweat. He's absolutely going to be a cornerstone of this defense. 82-star second-year man out of Texas at nose tackle. Then you got Jeffery Simmons, who is an absolute monster. But how old is he? Was he 20? I'd love to see 28 here. Okay. He's right on that bubble of like when we're ready to win. He might be regressing a little bit, but I think starting point of a 95 superstar, I have all intentions that he's going to be here when we win that Super Bowl. What's that? Most of the offensive line, the running back room, the wide receiver room, Probably corners, completely overhauling most of the linebackers. That is the plan of what we need to fix for this Titans team. So I think we've, on average, been able to get our Super Bowl here in our Madden 26 rebuilds. Probably by year 3 has kind of been the average. I think this is going to be a full 5. If not, we can't get it done in 5, and we'll have to take this to overtime, year 6, 7, potentially, to get this Titans team to a Super Bowl and to win one. But without further ado, let's get into year 1. So let's sell off some of our players here a little bit. I'm not outright saying we're doing a fire sale rebuild or anything like that, but there are some players that clearly aren't going to be in our long-term plans that we need to cash in on their value. Wilt Levis still has potentially untapped potential, especially to a team that is as dire at the quarterback room like the Saints. Kellen Moore could say, yeah, Will Levis has arm talent that no one else on our roster has. So with that, we're sending Will Levis and one of our 2 7th-round picks to get a 4th-round pick from the New Orleans Saints. Now, hear me out on this one. Tony P is 28. We need to, he's just going to waste his career. The blast of his prime here with us. And I think the fact that we have Tajay Spears waiting in the wings, I think Spears, when he was behind Derrick Henry, showed potential to be a starting running back. So I'm doing this as a move to respect Tony P and the fact that the Steelers were very interested in him. So we're sending 86 star dev Tony Pollard as well as a 5th-round pick next year to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We get a very talented player in their own right in Nick Herbig, who's shown great flashes, but is buried on their depth chart at pass rush. He's going to come in and be a starter for us right away, and we're able to gain a 3rd-round pick this season. But I'll be honest, everybody else, I don't think there'd be any market. Like, Xavier Woods is going to be a depth guy. I don't think anyone's trading for a 30-year-old safety. I think the same would go for, Arden Key. Yes, he has a dev trait, 75, but is anyone trading for a 29-year-old like that has limited production? Same with Joseph Day. So I'm not just going to trade all of our kind of good rating depth. I'm trying to, I think there would be a market for Tony Pollard. I think there would be a market for Will Levis. Everybody else, you just got to be part of our rotation. And I will say, great news coming into training camp. We got 3 upgrades for Ayo Manor, 2 for Cam Ward, and 2 for Kevin Winston. So the good news for our 2 upgrade points for Cam Ward is that we can get him before the regular season even starts into a perfect scheme fit for a Callahan offense. Now here we go. We have the Cam Ward regular season debut, and it is pretty tough going against one of the best defenses in the league on the road at one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. Let's see how Cam Ward handles getting thrown to the Wolves in his NFL debut on the road against the Broncos. In real life, this is going to be a rough week, I think, for the Titans. That's not a favorable opener by any means for a brand new quarterback, for an underpowered offense. And personally, I'm going to take note at my fantasy football draft in 2 weeks. Broncos DST could be a good streamer for week 1. But in this scenario, it is time to shock the world because everybody regards the Broncos as a top 5 defense entering the season this year. And everyone assumes, Cam Ward, 70-yard pick on Stephon Gilmore. That is not how we want to start things out. Everyone assumes that the Titans are probably a bottom 5 offense. It's a perfect storm for terrible. And we need to find a way to endure. We also, for the sake of this rebuild, need Tajay Spears to thrive as our running back 1 after the Tony Pollard trade. That's a very favorable run right there. He's already got wear and tear. What? -3 speed? We've had a drive. What are we talking about here? We got Mullings. Go! No, he's not Derrick Henry, but Mullings does bring some power. What was he, a Michigan Wolverine? Okay, that's a good response. Punch him back in the mouth. Safety for the Broncos, but the next play is a 3rd down and long. Cam Ward. Oh, man, that sucks. Just immediately punishing us for the Tony Pollard trade. All right, let's see where we can go. Conco at the sticks. I don't like it. That felt like a coverage sack. Nick Bonito getting home. Oh, we got a 2-minute drill. Go get some points here at the end of the first half. Absolutely. Let's get in our bag. Right here, Ayo Manor breaks a tackle. And if it wasn't for the best corner in the league, we might have housed that. Now, 2 picks for Cam Ward in the first half. Certainly stings. What that means is that there's a whole lot of room for improvement. What we're going to do here is just get some percentage builders, completion percentage builders. And then we're not even going to be able... Oh my God, this offense sucks. Okay, well, that was short-lived. I think, obviously, a huge part right now is there's no Tajay Spears. So we have very limited explosiveness in our backfield. Is he back out there yet? No? Okay, we're going to have to just, honestly, at this point, send a limping Tajay Spears out there. That was on me. That got to be quicker. I think we go for this. I'm going to be honest. That whole play, I was waiting for the tight end, Conquo, to get open. And then we took way too long to get back to Calvin Ridley. 4th and 8. Canadian ain't open over to lead him. That's what we want to see. And in a game that it feels like we have been getting smashed, we are a touchdown away from being right back in it here in the second half. But we got a banged up Tajay Spears. Will he have enough juice to get us 4 yards? Oh my God. What happened? I mean, what happened to the first drive for that? Did you just get like blown up by... I don't even know who they got any hard hitters on Broncos. Zach Allen on the defensive line. Benito. Try to get that to DK. Try this verts, but we're going to look for the underneath route here to Calvin Ridley. Free play. Oh, we'll get the touch. That's going to be offside. Decline. Touchdown, Titans. What? Good, that's got to be offside. Who are we looking? Why are we getting multiple camera angles? What is the penalty here, refs? Okay, it is offside. Decline. Great bounce back drive. Let's go. All right, we're going to come here. 3rd and 6. Now, the reason why I want to rebuild the Titans is I've yet to see the Titans be pretty good in Madden 26. I think I can change that. The inverse of that is I've seen Denver be very good. They're consistently good. Bo Nix is annoying. And I don't know. Even look at our Raiders franchise. They signed Tyler Boyd off the street, and he had like 24 receiving touchdowns. So there's something brewing up there in Denver to make them one of the more annoying teams to go up against here in Madden 26. We're going to take this probably the 2-minute warning. Oh, come on, man. We read that perfectly. There we go. We get the sack. Our 5th sack of the game. And I think that was Herbig. The big trade from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I've seen enough Steeler game to know that like Herbig's good enough to be a starter in this league. So I think that was great business by the Titans, who are looking to find some upside players that could develop into long-term starters. Here we go. Jeff Simmons on the D-line. Gets the pressure, and we hold the Denver Broncos to a field goal. And we can't capitalize on it. That is... You know, that's very college football 26. We're doing a bad team, and we finally get a stop, and then it just... For the moment, it's like you're actually not going to get the next moment. There's a great throw to DK. Let's just play for pride at this point. In the red zone. I mean, touchdown, obviously touchdown, onside kick. I don't know. We just don't have a lot of plays that can get in the end zone here. We want to avoid Pat Surtain at all costs. Maybe Ridley. Hey, here we go. At minimum, we broke even on the touchdown to interceptions for Cam Ward. But that's a very tough assignment for an NFL debut on the road against a defense like that. Plenty of good, though. We'll be able to build off this loss. I'm interested to go look at the box score here. We had 5 sacks and counting. Like, who's eating like that? Defense, again, just the 2 picks on Cam Ward. I did not throw those. That was the sim. I did feel like when the good went well for us, Cam Ward felt pretty legit. Our run game was just destroyed with Tyjae Spears getting wear and tear on the opening drive, so that sucked. Not a lot of balance there, but DK for an NFL debut, 7 catches, 93 yards. A.M. Manor, 72 yards. Ridley gets his touchdown. Okonkwo gets his touchdown. Defensively, Cody Barton with 7 tackles. And look at Herbig! First start, 4 tackles, a TFL, 2 sacks. Sack and a half from Simmons. We got Sweat getting after it. Could be an outstanding trade in hindsight. So coming out of our bye week, we are 3-6, which, you know, is expected this year. Maybe even next year is we're ready to struggle. We're ready to embrace the struggle. Looking at our contracts, salary cap. Well, let's, okay. Got a lot of players. I think overall rule of thumb is to get younger. In the case of Kevin Zeitler, I think we have to offer him a contract just in case he doesn't retire this offseason. We'll have that covered because we absolutely will run it back if he wants to stay here and run out his career in Tennessee. I think Tyler Lockett was a rental. I think Joseph Day can be viewed as a rental. Baker at 27. Key, Draymond. I like to keep Okonkwo. Maybe like a 4-year, $23 million, somewhere in that range for the rest of his prime. Let's get that locked up. I think Hooker is another interesting case where if he wanted maybe 4 years, I'd be less inclined. But the fact that he just wants to lock in for 3 years, probably give him about another $1 million. We'll get that one across the line. I think Roger McCreary, really underrated corner. And again, I'm very happy with him and his agent coming forward to say, we want to be here for the rest of our prime, and they're not trying to get some extra years where we know he's going to regress. We've won 5 of our last 6. So, Then unfortunately ran into the Niners and Chiefs, so there's a 2-game losing streak. But at 7-8, we have very winnable games. Week 17 and 18 against the Saints and the Jaguars. Our offense is what? I mean, not elite, but top 5 is way better than I've seen them play at any other point. And when we look at the division, I mean, right in the hunt for playoffs this year. Still. Look at these upgrades. Cam Ward, 5 skill points. A.M. Manor, 4 skill points. Big one for A.M. Manor was getting almost 20,000 XP for 8 receiving touchdowns on the year. For Cam Ward, the big one is 3,500 yards passing, giving us 25,000 XP. Again, we just did our Raiders franchise where I broke rookie records with Dante Thornton, breaking Puka Nakua's single-season rookie receiving and touchdown yard record. And, we got like 5K for each one of those goals. I mean, at this point, the meta in Madden franchise mode is play your rookies, play your dev trade players, because then they can get somewhat reasonable goals. The XP is insane as we get 3 upgrade points for Winston, who gets his for 75 tackles on a season. But here's a huge game, Week 18 against the 9-7 Jags. We're here at 8-8. And there is a legitimate claim to be made that if we win this game, I don't know what the tiebreakers are over the Jags, but if we win, we could win the division and sneak into the playoffs. Come on. I'll take a Titans year 1. We were like 1-4 to start the year. Damn it. Got a lot of XP for coach. But we finished below 500. But the offense, I can work with that. Statistically speaking, at the end, Cam Ward is top 5 in passing yards. 28 touchdowns to 14 picks that's a rookie stat line if I've ever seen it. That can't be his ceiling. I like to see, 30-plus touchdowns, kind of our base threshold there. But he did get 5 rushing touchdowns. So that's, 4,300 yards, 32 total tutties. 33 touchdowns. Do the math, C4. It's early in the morning. That's a good year. Build off of that, absolutely. Tyjae Spears as our RB1, under 1,000 yards rushing, did have 13 rushing touchdowns, had 4 fumbles, so kind of shook as the lead back. Probably was prepared to be RB2 behind Tony P, but that trade was too good. I'm excited to see what kind of stat line Herbig had on the defensive side of the ball. Receiving, Calvin Ridley goes over 1,000 yards with 5 touchdowns. The rookie Alec A. Manor, the Canadian, 900 yards but had double-digit touchdowns with 11. DK, 900 yards, 3 touchdowns. Okonkwo was solid, 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. Spears gave us some nice production out of the backfield, so he got over 1,000 yards from scrimmage and 16 total touchdowns. So, like, we can build off that, but I won't outright rule wide receiver being in play for our first round or one of our top picks in this year's draft. I still think we need a game changer because, I don't think Amenor on normal dev, it'd be wishful to assume that he will get a dev trait off of that season. DK is at a star dev, like he's not going up dev trait, and Calvin Ridley is more likely to regress than continue to progress. So getting like a legit game-changing wide receiver one, similar to, I don't want to open this old wound for you guys, but A.J. Brown for the Titans is something we need to look for. Defensively, Cody Barton led the team in tackles with 105. We got 13.5 sacks from Jeffery Simmons, 11 TFLs, 7.5 sacks from Herbig. So I think that ends up being a pretty solid trade for us. 5 sacks, Oladejo, 4.5 for Tavondre Sweat, 2 picks, Brownlee, but generally the interception numbers weren't great. I will say, just out of curiosity, so we traded for, and obviously age is something to consider as well. Herbig can continue to grow and develop with our team, but we got 61 tackles, 11 TFLs, 7.5 sacks, and the Pittsburgh Steelers got, obviously, I think that's like a 6-point overall upgrade. They got 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns out of Tony P on top of, I think that's trade both teams won. We both got something out of it that we needed. Cam Ward comes number 2 in Offensive Rookie of the Year, voted behind Genty with Alec Amenor at number 3 and DK at number 7. Mason Graham wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. We have Oladejo at 5, Winston at 6. How did the trade make sense? Tajay Spears number 4, Tony Pollard number 5. It's interesting. So Derrick Henry number 3. Kevin Zeitler runner-up for Lineman of the Year. Well, let's go, Joey Sly, Kicker of the Year. Sick. But unfortunately, what we knew was likely going to happen did happen, as 91 rated runner-up Lineman of the Year Kevin Zeitler retires after 14 years. There goes our highest rated player to retirement. Now looking at our lineup, as far as dev traits are concerned, no one on the offensive side of the ball gained a dev trait. Gunnar Helm was hidden dev as a star. DK was a hidden dev as a star. Amenor does not go up dev trait, even though he had a really, really nice rookie campaign. On the defensive side of the ball, dev traits, we have got Winston was hidden dev as a star. We lose the superstar in L'Jarius Sneed, which is probably generous to keep him as a superstar. So that's, kind of annoying. Joey Sly went up to a star. We got to re-sign him. So what we're going to do is we're going to decline the 5th-year option on Skoronski, just get ahead of a contract extension there. And as far as outgoing players, wow, Orgy got started. You got one of those unjust dev traits. There's no interest there. I don't want to reward the game glitching you into a dev trait, but what I do want is to get Joey Sly, a.k.a. Kicker of the Year, give you a nice $1 million signing bonus to stay here in Tennessee. What can I say? I'm a sucker for dev traits. Let's go, Orgy. Wow, we'll give credit where credit's due. Looking at one of my top priorities to do every rebuild. First offseason, any contracts we absolutely have to get off the books. And really, Xavier Woods is the only guy that makes sense to get rid of. So congrats to the Titans on not having terrible contracts. Now, we need a good role in free agency. We have $126 million. So if there's good players that make sense, we will be aggressive. Would Pacheco be fun in Tennessee? I don't know if there's not a lot of interest there. And Spears was solid, but Spears wasn't, I wasn't blown away with what he brought to the table. Now, there's not a lot of interest. We'd likely have to overpay, but I think we'll throw an offer out there. Not a great year to need a wide receiver like we do. Nah, pass. We really need a guard with Zeitler retiring. We have Jordan Meredith there, Trevor Penning, Isaac Seumalo, but I know he retires relatively early. The guard market is pretty gross. So I think we'll likely look towards the draft there. Ooh, I like this. So at linebacker, Leo Chenal. Now, there's 18 teams interested. I feel like he could be a game changer for our defense. He's a beast. Height, weight, speed monster. So we're going to kind of look, even giving him the best offer we possibly can, we're not even in the hunt. I think secondary, we have Nakobe Dean here, formerly the Philadelphia Eagles. I think that would also make a little bit of sense to potentially throw him some money. So we'll see if we can get him on a 2-year deal coming off a really, really rough injury with the Eagles. That has him as the #1 team, which is sick. I think at corner, we're probably fine. Could look for more competition there. At safety, we're good. Could bring in one of the exciting whites from the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm thinking, honestly, what I'm going to do is we're going to come back with a bigger offer. I think Pacheco would be really fun. Specty's only looking for a 3-year deal, so that's at no point would you have to worry about regression there. And I think that would give us a 1-2 punch. And I mean, the reason not saying that we don't need a 1-2 punch, and why would you trade Tony Pollard if you wanted a 1-2 punch? Tony Pollard is now at this point 29 years old and hitting regression. Pacheco, we'd be able to get him locked in for really the rest of his prime and not face any of that regression. So we'll come with a little bit of more of an improved offer. I don't know if that'll put us ahead of the Titans, or the Bengals, sorry. Well, let's see. Okay, we got Nakobe Dean. All right, one guy, sick. The final mock draft has us taking a edge rusher, Tucker Burns. When I'm going to be pretty honest with you, I mean, he looks a finesse move. But, I mean, I'm not really interested in an edge rusher. Because our focus scout this year was wide receiver and corner. And we got Scotty Wilson, top 5 talent. Caleb Mann, top 5 talent. Got exciting whites at wide receiver. But we also have some value a little bit later on. A legit round 1 there in Marcus Reddick. In terms of, like, steals, we have a 2nd, 3rd round talent late. 2nd, 3rd round talent as a UDFA, so there's a lot of value late round as well. Looking at the corner market, which we should have a lot of information. We got a lot of first rounders. I love seeing legit first rounders in the 2nd round. That would be a potential target for us. But no gems. I would say outside of that for team need, I mean, I feel pretty good about our D-line. I don't want to rush to go get a pass rusher. I'd rather see if Herbig can continue to develop. So, and like Olejao is a guy that we think has a high ceiling. We need a guard. I think that's where, I'm blind picking right now. Let's see if we can get some good information on guards. We have a pass block, a run block on Carrington. Okay, that's probably a top 5 talent right there. And at left guard, what do we... Oh, man, not much. Pass block, run block. Oof. This is not a particularly good class. I'll scout Bradshaw just out of curiosity. But we'll definitely... Carrington's... I mean, he's going to be very, very good. And then I would say outside of that, is there like a crazy looking running back? I'm going to go more so off speed. Do we have any like 4.3 speed? We got 4.4 on Craver. Maybe another Pollard's what we need. But I think that guard's going to give us, he's a stud. We're going to uncover something here. So yeah, top 5 true talent here in Carrington at guard. He certainly shoots up our draft board. Now, as far as the 2 wide receivers, we have Scotty Wilson, who looks like he's a lock to go like 1st overall. I'm not going to be able to trade up for him, even though he looks spectacular. 4A, 6'5", 220. I'm going to trade up for him. What do you want, Dallas? I will make it happen. I'll throw in a wideout. I will give you Ao Manor. I will give up a Canadian. I don't know if they're going to accept it, but I'm going to send 2 firsts. Our first this year, our first next year. I'm going to... I don't even know if we can. They don't have any cap. Because they need a tight end. I'd give them a Conquo. Come on, surpass the cap. 2 firsts, get that done. So I could only... Oh my god, that makes it even harder. We only are dealing with picks. I'll sell this whole... I'll sell that. So I'll still have 2 4th-round picks. 2 firsts. A 2nd. 2 thirds. What about like a way down the line 2nd? Oh. Damn it, man. I don't know. I hate the idea of giving up my second this year, my second next year. Like, would my second next year, though, make the difference? Because you're playing with me at this point. I can't give up 3 first-round picks. All right, let's go. First this year. That guy's gonna. I don't even know what the wide receiver is gonna be, like an 85 overall. And that's what we need, I think, a wide receiver. So we're gonna go our first this year, second this year, third this year, first next year, second next year, second in 2028. That is a severe overpay. But when you see a generational guy at your big position need that I focus scout at wide receiver, I hope it works. Oh, man, what are the odds that he's just like, he's sick? Like, he's not going to be bad, but like normal dev or something like that. But I'm very confident. Looks like a duck, walks like a duck, probably a duck. Scotty Wilson, 6'5", 220, Washington State. A catch in traffic, A catching, A deep route running, A release. Runs a 4.24. 43-inch vertical. I will say, not a perfect player. The 3-cone 20-yard shuttle could be better. That's where it's going to show up. It is agility, only being a solid. But A awareness, A break tackle, A catch in traffic, A catching, A deep route running, C medium route running, A release, A spec, I mean, this is a perfect player. Are you with Morgan? Like, we just paid more than what the Titans paid, or the Falcons paid to trade up to get Julio Jones. I believe that was 2 first-round picks. We basically mortgaged 2 drafts. I'm going to say, for me not to be pissed, he needs to be at least an 82 X Factor. If he's not an X Factor, if he's 79 superstar, I think we overpaid. But if he's an X Factor, he's truly a generational player. To get the most out of Cam Ward, we have to find our A.J. Brown. And it's almost at any price we have to find our A.J. Brown. Free agency has not been particularly great for big-name, exciting players, in my experience. The best place to get a big-name, exciting player is in the draft. Scotty Wilson, number 1 in true value at pick 1. He is a generational talent, as you can see right above the webcam. 99 jumping, 90. Take a guess right now. What do you think his rating is going to be? I'm going to say, let's get the webcam out of the way. I don't want to say like 87 or 86. I've seen those before. I've been tagged in those before. I don't want to set the bar high. And then I'm going to say 83. I think he's an 83 X Factor. So the bad news is we had to sit all the way to the 3rd round, which I imagine a lot of our scouting has gone to waste at this point. But let's see. We scouted wide receivers. We're good there now. The corner would be the next position that we had a lot of information on. And we still have a 2nd, 3rd round talent here in Jerry Zimmerman. That's probably where we're going to go next. We do need guard, but I mean the guard market was there's 2 draftable guards. C.J. Douglas. You get those Fs in run blocking. You don't like to see that. So what we're going to do here is, I think, just trust our board. When you have limited picks like this, you got to get your best players. We're going to get Jerry Zimmerman, who has B-man coverage. 56 at 91. No dev trait, though. Now we're in the business of trying to just compensate for that trade. The board is terrible, so I'm going to flip our 4th round pick this year with the Rams to get their 3rd round pick next season. At the risk of cheesing, we have our other 4th round pick this year. I'm going to get another future 3rd from the Lions, but this will be the last pick I trade, so I don't have 19 3rd and 4th round picks next year. Well, this is the 6th round. We need a punter. We get Evan Huggins. 137 in true value at 176. Dev trade punter. Here we go. Draft recap. Get your predictions in. 84 hidden dev. We get Zimmerman 73 normal, Huggins 68 with a dev trait. I get a long snapper just because I always draft and recommend you guys in your rebuilds. if you're going like quickly and you're not just playing every single game, just draft a long snapper your first year so you don't have to worry about it for like the next rookie contract. But Wilson, 84 dev trade. I said 83 X Factor. I will take 84 X Factor if that is the case. But you got to be worth it, man. You got to, has to produce. This has to be a guy that hits the ground running as, he enters the league as a number 35 ranked wide receiver. He's going to be our wide receiver 1. And you've got to get Cam Ward. Almost at this point, you and Cam Ward have to become the next elite duo. I said in this at the very beginning, we don't necessarily have to have Cam Ward play like a MVP candidate. We're going to have to probably build the team up around him because I don't really know his ceiling. Your ceiling and expectations for Cam Ward have drastically changed by going out and getting Scotty Wilson. Outside of that, in the class, Carrington, the top 5 guard that we scouted, is an 82. And man, the other top 5 wide receiver, top 5 talent, they told us, 79, 95 acceleration, not too bad. But yeah, very happy with our pick. So looking at our remaining picks after the trade, next year we don't have a first or second. We have a bunch of 3s, 4, 6, and then we got a 1. We miss a second in 2020. I think we could probably get a second round pick for next year. Damn, maybe not. I'm not gonna lie, I thought the interest bar would go up. DK 76 dev trait on a rookie contract. It's okay, maybe not. Because look, Patriots' secondary need is tight end. I'm giving you a dev trait 71, 3 years left on a rookie deal tight end, and a 3rd round pick for a second. They say no. So you know what? Screw the league. I'll be good with my 3 third rounders. We'll do damage with that. So because of a bad free agency role and limited draft picks, we are going to have to go with Slater as our starting guard to take over for the 91 overall Kevin Zeitler. But everything else on the offense remains the same. Clearly, we're going to make him wide receiver 1. We're going to have Aomanor, Ridley as our starters. DK kind of the odd man out right now, but hopefully he'll still get involved. Defensively, the addition of Nakobe Dean. He's going to start at will. We got Barton there. We're going to have Oladejo and Herbig coming off the edge. Winston and Hooker at safety. We're pretty much running back with the exact same defense that was not bad last year, but all eyes are on the Cam Ward to Wilson combination. So game 1 of the regular season, big game against the Texans. We win. Well, my question is, how did we win? Was this defense? Was this offense? And I want to see the Ward to Wilson. So Cam Ward played a great game. Oh, yeah. 100 yards, 6 catches, and a touchdown. That is how you debut rookie. Also shout out Sneed for the only turnover in the game on CJ Stroud. But the reason why we're going to keep it here is Scotty Wilson has an upgrade point. Now he's an 84 overall. So when we unlock 85, that is where if he has a minimum superstar, if not X Factor, we will unlock an ability slot here. So we're going to level up to an 85. And if we get the ability slot, that means we know he's at least a superstar at minimum. And we do. We got a tough stretch of schedule here, but we go against the Bengals, who are one of the best teams in Madden 26 Sim. We beat them 31-24 with a 4-sack performance from Oladejo on the defensive side of the ball. All right, I believe there's a chance actually we might have to come back next time, but we might have his dev trade unlocked here. My guess was 83 X Factor, and we're gonna might as well at this point. He's so in. There we go. It's an X Factor. He's so good. We might as well just pump our points into Playmaker and try our best to make him a scheme fit. His base overall is going to go up anyways. And Playmaker's one of the best to just level up regardless. But Scotty Wilson, the man that we sold the farm for, looks, I'm going to put the C on his chest right now. He looks like he's going to be worth it. Terrifying Playmaker. 88 overall and counting. Like by the end of this year, he'll probably be into the 90s. How do you stop that? At midseason, the Titans, we are 4-4, which is, again, probably like a realistic spot to be. If we can get hot down the stretch, I'm going to be happy about it. In terms of contracts, nothing too crazy. Well, the 5th-year option for Latham, which we need to make a decision on. We have Herbig, who I didn't trade for with the intention of letting him walk, so we'll go 3-year, $29 million there. We have Skoronski. We don't want to leave either. We'll go 4-year, 66, probably 67, 68. We'll get that contract done. And I think in the case of Spears, what's he looking for? Around $5 million a year. I can live with that over the next 4. And I'm taking $70 million, but we get Skoronski locked in. That's what I love to see. 2-game win streak going into the bye with a player of the week performance for both Cam Ward, who had 3 rushing touchdowns, and Oladejo, who's having a breakout this season. By the bye, look at the numbers. Cam Ward leading the league in passing yards. Wilson, the rookie, leading the league in receiving yards. So as we look at the end of year number 2, the gamble to trade up, mortgage the future on an X-Factor generational wide receiver. It pays out. We go 11-6, and we're in the playoffs. We have a top 10 offense, a borderline top 5 passing offense. When we take a look at the division, we win the title. We go 11-6 in the rare time that 11-6 is good enough for the 2 seed, trailing the Baltimore Ravens, who won 15-2, to be the 1 seed. But the proof is in the pudding, and the proof is right there. Wilson, as a rookie, 103 catches, 1,700 yards, and 14 touchdowns. It's the exact type of game changer that we need, because look, it's just going to make Cam Ward better. The questions of Cam Ward, can he, go from being a good quarterback? Can he be an elite quarterback? I think we have a wide receiver that could answer that question. As Cam Ward goes for over 4,000 yards, 31 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. And again, I think this is an ascension. I don't think this is a ceiling. So that is very good. Running the ball under 1,000 yards for Spears. But, at this point in time, we are kind of committed to throwing the football. Cam Ward had another 5 rushing touchdowns, so 36 total touchdowns on the year. We have Scotty Wilson as a rookie. Yeah, over 100 yards a game. Absolutely different. Now, unfortunately, no one else kind of ate on the offense. 5-5 for Okonkwo. Amanor. Got nothing from DK. But, when you get a 6'5 X-Factor rookie, that's kind of your guy. Plans change. Defensively, Nakobe Dean led the team with 99 tackles, so that's a good get for our lone free agency signing. Our pass rush was on another level. Oladejo, 15 sacks on 12 TFLs, 12 sacks from Jeff Simmons, 10 sacks on 14 TFLs for Nick Herbig. What a trade that was. Going out and getting him, and shout out Cody Barton, L'Jarius Sneed, tied for first on the team in picks with 3. And Ward's still got a way to go, though, in the respect department for the rest of the league, only coming 8th in MVP voting. I think that's a little bit of a ripoff. Callahan was more impressive than Harbaugh. Yeah, Harbaugh went 15-2, but we weren't really expected to make the playoffs. The rookie Scotty Wilson wins Offensive Player of the Year, and obviously also Offensive Rookie of the Year. Cam Ward, 3rd place in Quarterback of the Year, so I think we're going to continue to ascend in this department. Scotty Wilson is Wide Receiver of the Year. Ooh, Skoronski, who just got his payday, number 2 in Lineman of the Year. That would have been very nice to get if it would have yielded a superstar dev trait, but unfortunately, goes to Linderbaum. Yeah, Scotty Wilson, pretty good. 97 overall in his rookie season. Base 93, but the morale boost counts. It's all boost, it's all abilities, and that is what the Denver Broncos are going to see here in the playoffs. So when the wild card round, we get the 9-8 Denver Broncos. They had that 88 overall defense. I mean, we know everything about the Broncos. That was our introduction. Game 1 of the Cam Ward career. Denver Broncos on the road. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. We saw every bit of that very good defense. They have a top 10 defense in the league. Offensively, not too bad. Defensively, as a whole, in terms of yardage, not the best. 21st and 25th rate, respectively. So, I think with our new look offense, I like the fact that we're going to see. Because this is literally where we were as a team, game 1 of the rebuild, where we were first playoff game of the rebuild with a new stud and a couple new studs. So let's see, and hopefully it's a better result than the first time around, which was a L. Home game. When was the last time Titans had a home playoff game? Feels like it's been a minute. I don't know, did they have one during the Vrabel years? But either way, Cam Ward has single-handedly came in, changed the vibes. I bet you put this way, if Cam Ward wasn't here, do we go out and make that massive trade to get a generational wide receiver? Or do we say we need those picks? We are in a rebuild. We need more than just one thing. But no, we go out, we get a franchise quarterback, and the rest of the pieces kind of fall in play. Great job so far from the defense in the first half, and then offense finishes the first drive with a touchdown. We go with a halftime lead, but Denver scores on their opening drive of the second half. Drive stalls for the Titans. They have to settle for a field goal. Trading field goals. Everything to play for here in the fourth quarter. Touchdown, Tennessee. So it's one of those, anytime we do something, they do something. Oh, that response. Get a stop, defense. Come on. They're going for it. 4th and 7. Stop here. We don't go to overtime. We get a playoff win. If not, I feel like it's probably not going to be our game. If they can get in here. Let's go. 24-17. It's the measuring stick. This was game 1 of the rebuild. I had to come in and score some touchdowns in that one. But now from a strictly sim standpoint, Cam Ward. First playoff game, first playoff win. I can only imagine. Look at that. 263 yards, 3 touchdowns, 70% completion percentage that Scotty Wilson was getting on the receiving end. Now, it's still the Denver Broncos defense with Pat Surtain and company. 2 picks. You don't love seeing that, but luckily this was like, we finished ahead of positive offensive production. Our run game was kind of non-existent. Wow. I mean, that was clearly a situation. They put Pat Surtain on Scotty Wilson, which is a tough assignment. But if you're going to double team him, that's going to open things up for Spears on a screen pass, Okonkwo on a short pass, Calvin Ridley turning back the clock here a little bit. Defensively, Cody Barton, 12 tackles, gets a pick. Sack from Simmons, a sack from Sweat. Not bad. We keep rolling. So off of that win, shout out Cody Barton on the defensive side of the ball for getting Defensive Player of the Week. And we get the Vrabel game. Divisional round, AFC Championship game on the line. New England and their very good defense, led by another outstanding corner. We go from Pat Surtain to Christian Gonzalez. I'm sure Gonzalez is going to be on Scotty Wilson. But it's the defense of New England versus the offense, more so passing offense, of the Tennessee Titans. That's a good roll, though. I think we can beat them. It's not like we rolled Kansas City or Cincinnati or Baltimore that are, the upper echelon teams in the AFC. This is another team that very similar to Tennessee. We're kind of going along in a rebuild together. And this is going to be, who's going to be the better of Drake May versus Cam Ward? The better quarterback is going to win this game. Back at home, too. Is that something? A little bit of home field magic? Let's go. We don't need this. We don't need the pageantry. We need to get it on the field. And we got to smoke the Patriots. Let's go. Boom. Touchdown. Ooh, that needed to be points, though. You can't go in the red zone and have 0. Get 0 from it. Even field goals. I'll even take 10. Let's go. Give me 10. 10-10. Patriots go on a long drive here. No points for them in the first half. So it's a low-scoring game, cost-controlled game, and we're having some great drives. 2 straight touchdowns, a 14-point. 14-point swing for Tennessee in the third quarter. 14-point swing, end of third, start the fourth for the Patriots. But we're here at 3:07, tied at 24-24. Titans and Cam Ward are getting the football. This, I feel like we need, even with this low time, this needs to be a touchdown. Field goal, that's still plenty of time for Drake May, Stephon Diggs and company to get down into field goal range. Oh, I gotta get it. All right, we're going to overtime. They punt. So any score here. Second overtime. Yes! Joey Sly! That is last year's kicker of the year. Double overtime against the Patriots. And the Titans in year 2 are headed to the AFC Championship game. Cam Ward, you monster. Wow. Double over, both quarterbacks. I mean, a lot of yards. Efficient. Both 78.9% completion percentage. Both with a pick. Cam Ward get the only touchdown of the day. Great job stifling that. We got 2 touchdowns. Tajay Spears. Scotty Wilson going up against Gonzalez. A little bit better luck than he had a week ago going against Pat Surtain. 8 catches, 117 yards. 91 yards and a touchdown. Calvin Ridley has been playing out of his mind in these 2 playoff games. Defensively, the second-year man out of Penn State, Kevin Winston, with the picks. Sweat and Simmons get their sack streak alive. Both had sacks in game 1, and they keep it going game 2. And now the Titans are headed to the championship game. And on that performance, we get a weekly player of the week going to Roger McCreary, who had a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries. And speaking of CJ Stroud, that is the man. A divisional rivalry that stands before the Titans in year 2. So far ahead of schedule, making and appearing in a Super Bowl. What happened to the Ravens? They lost. They're right there. They slipped up to the Texans. Well, I mean, we can't lose this one. They were worse than us. This is our division. We won the division. We can't win the division and then lose out to the Super Bowl to the second place team in our division. Top 5 offense. Okay, so they scored a lot of points. Everything else is middle of the mall. Their pass yards per game 18th, rush yards per game 17th. Their defense overall 22nd, 28th in pass yards, 24th in rush yards. We are the better team. They are slightly more talented. Yes, they got an 88 overall defense. This is as good of a role and path from an AFC side of things that you're gonna get in a playoff run. We gotta take advantage of it. And the whole playoff run, the AFC runs through Nissan Stadium. All home games for the Titans. We'll get this walkout championship game vibes. And do the Houston Texans have an answer for the best wide receiver in the NFL? Opening drive, touchdown Tennessee. Houston, CJ Stroud got on their wagon, marched right back down the field. We hold them to a field goal. And then we're marching. We're in the red zone again. 2 straight touchdown drives for the Tennessee Titans. I literally, in my notes, have year 3 and year 4 for this rebuild already kind of mapped out. I might even have to go another year. And I'm already talking like we're going to win the Super Bowl, but I like to say right now, up 21-3. I don't think we're going to blow this. Oh, no, there's still time. All right, 10-point lead in the 4th. Well, that's just fucking embarrassing. A lot to learn from. Talking like we were up 21-3 in the second. That's just fucking embarrassing. Who can I blame? This was the year. I will say, very annoyed that Cam Ward had a pick in every fucking game. I'll say that. But probably not the deciding factor. Run game was kind of held in check. I mean, 200-yard receivers, yeah. Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Can't have that. Scotty Wilson going up against Derek Stingley. Tough matchup. But, I like to take our Scotty Wilson in that one. Defensively, 2.5, 3.5. Sacks were pretty tied. Both teams had a turnover. I mean, let's not get it twisted. Houston, outside of just, let's be pretty fair. Houston's, I don't know what the vibe is for Texan fans in regards to their GM. I like to say that the GM's kind of dumb. I feel like a lot of their roster decisions this most current offseason, especially just failing to address the worst offensive line in the league, was interesting call. But this Texan team's year 2 of this rebuild should probably be better still than this Titan team. And, it has felt like in our Madden 26 rebuilds, when we've kind of gone on these Cinderella runs, it's been a happy ending. And this is the first time we get a little bit of humble pie. And we know we got to get a little bit better. And we'll figure it out. Damn, man. We won the division. Second place in the division. I hope they lose. As long as they don't win the Super Bowl, I guess we're all losers in the end. So there we go. We're all losers. Rams win the Super Bowl 38-27. I can live with that. At the end of the year, I thought Cam Ward would have a shot at going up to superstar. And unfortunately, the game disagreed. Now, Scotty Wilson with the boosts is a 99. I think he's based 96. So he's going to be 99 club before next year. But man, I thought... we got to be a little bit better. Cam Ward's been great, and we're still waiting to see if he can be elite. And I think the fact that he threw a pick in every one of those playoff games, that's certainly adding fuel to that. But as far as where do we go, how do we get better, I think maybe there's an element of like, do we get a better running back? Can we get a little bit more of the run game? Offensive line, that left-hand side, Dan Moore is kind of just a guy at left tackle. We went with Slater here. He's a 71 at left guard. So showing some TLC to the offensive line. Looking at the backfield, I do think Wilson, I think Ao Manor, who's at 87, yeah, we can work with that. I think the tight end room is fine. So let's work on those two positions of need offensively. Defensively, corner's got to play better. Like, that's the tail of the tape. Tank Dell and Nico Collins went off. Jerry Steen's getting older. McCreary's pretty much at his ceiling. Drafted Zimmerman, but we got to, we got to keep bringing it on the defense. Now, how Oladejo with 15 sacks didn't go up to a superstar is kind of frustrating. We did have Jeff Simmons go from superstar up to an X Factor. So there's a game changer there. Nick Herbig goes from normal up to a star dev. So that trade with the Pittsburgh Steelers sending over Tony P is aging well for the Tennessee Titans. But we still need, we're still a piece or two away, I think, from truly expecting to go and win a Super Bowl. So to start the offseason, we're going to decline the fifth-year option on J.C. Latham to get ahead of a contract extension next season. He's earned it. So it's not too often we've been able to go into free agency, and there's actually some upgrades available. We got Ronnie Stanley, but I'm looking at Charles Cross here. We have over $100 million in salary cap. I'm thinking we throw an offer here. Spend some of that money. 26, 85, star dev. Yeah. I mean, I don't really want to overpay. I don't want to hit him with like a, excessively friendly offer. But that'll play. We need a guard. We have Juice Scruggs. I think we might be able to look at guard in the draft. Maybe there's a right guard that could slide over. So no, not a great market for guards. And then we look on the defense. D-line, we could be in the market. Pass rush help, if there's like a clear upgrade. Not really. All due respect to Owe. Linebacking core. I mean, Simpson is a beast. 2681 with a dev trade. Cody Barton's played well, but he's on, the wrong side of regression. I think I'd put like a neutral offer in here. See where that puts us. In the mix. If there's a bidding war, we'll probably be washing our hands of that situation. Ooh, Riley Moss at corner. I do get Titan vibes from him, to be honest with you. But I don't know. That's not a huge upgrade to be spending that money. Good year to need a safety. We are pretty good. I mean, Armani Hooker's kind of at that age where like you could replace him, but not for $20 million. I think I want to put our money elsewhere. I want Cross. Let's see if we can get Simpson. Excuse me? First place. I don't even get like a chance to like renegotiate. How about this? We gotta try. Can we get at least one guy here? There we go. Man, that is a bummer. Is Ronnie Stanley still in the market? I might go back for Ronnie Stanley if he's still there. No, he goes to the Rams. He goes to the Super Bowl champs. That's so dumb. Like, so that means he accepted like an orange offer from the Cleveland Browns. Fuck you too. Fuck you too, buddy. That means we're gonna go in a draft with no first or second round pick. Needing to improve the offensive line, so there's no chance we're going to get a tackle this year. There's never been, maybe 1 in a million, a legit nice tackle outside the second round. Sometimes you can get them in the second round. So we're going to be looking third round on. We need BPA, probably at guard, interior line, and corner. All right, so we get our 3 focus scouts. We have a lot of information on corner. Unfortunately, like no absolute diamond in the rough was uncovered because, again, we have those third round picks, but Dell's a second, third rounder, Jeffers second, third rounder, so like a couple guys we could take a swing on late. I need guard information, So we're going to take a look here and try to, like, try to decide and decipher who's going to be the best looking guard. I think Jonathan Coleman could be in play. B pass block, B pass block power. We have A run block power. I feel like there's a good shout that he could be halfway decent there. I think you look at the left guards. Again, only 2 draftable ones. Again, even you're looking at the combo. Maybe Bowman has the double B there, but I don't know. I think Coleman's probably the player we want to look at. But we'll go. I might as well. Let's just clear the board. 2 draftable guards. Let's confirm if they're good or if they're ass. And of course, even though we got this stupid menu, which I hope they get fixed, Cordova is a UDFA. And then at right guard, we did get Jonathan Coleman as a second rounder. So I think this needs to be the layup here. Jonathan Coleman, come on down with our first of 3 third-round picks. We started with a player number 37 in True Value. Gets the played basketball for 2 years. What's his size? 6'6", 335. Played basketball, did he? We'll take that. Dev trait guard could challenge to start right away at left guard. I think center could be another position that I really like the pass block numbers here on Overton. A pass block, B pass block power, A pass block footwork. The run blocking is certainly lacking. But Lloyd Cushenberry is kind of a replacement player. And the fact that he has an A in pass blocking. He was B, I would probably pass. But the fact that it is A and he has some elite traits, let's go and just go all in here on the O-line here in the 3rd round. Overton, come on down. 110 in True Value at 94, so not our best work. But he does have a dev trait, so there's a decently high ceiling there. And he could be a Cushenberry successor. And with our final pick, this is just a deal you got to get your guys. So we have Allen Jeffers. Yes, it's UDFA, but how much longer can we wait? If he gets sniped, we need corner help. 2nd, 3rd round talent. Let's not overthink it. 58 True Value, 96. And the dev trait train continues. Now, the Titans are one of the teams that actually we run nose tackle. So I actually have no guilt trying to nose tackle cheese here because there are a couple. We have Marquell Macklin, who actually kind of looks ass, so we're going to pass on that one. We have Alex Holman, who has B. Let's take a look here. Let's see if we can find the best one. But that's all that needs to get nerfed. Like, I'm almost at a point where, like, when you can go and start, you can adjust the sliders for draft cast strength. I think we might need to, like, lower D tackle a little bit. There's just an excess of these. So Holman, he actually looks pretty good. We have the clock live right now. So let's pick it up a little bit. Kendrick Banks from Mizzou. Double C's. We got Thomas C's. Priester C's. Like, there's just so many. Like, it literally, I don't know. There's something wrong with draft class generation. Quincy Shields from my Florida Gators. No, I think we got to go with Holman. Like, he had the best looking numbers here across the board. And let's bring him in. Big dog, 33 in True Value. And the dev trade again. Can't lose. So, taking a look at our draft recap, we got a 71 running back in the 6th round. And then we just got a depth D tackle. Kind of played out. No dev traits there. But I mean, I'll still take a 71. Running back is slightly a concern. But we get Holman 75 dev trait. Jeffers 73 with the dev trait. Overton a 70. That's a little low by our standards, but he did have a hidden dev. So that is fine. And then Coleman. I mean, for not having a 1st or 2nd round pick, we still almost end up with a all 70 plus rated class. And I mean, with Barron, we just get kind of duped by the speed. You see almost 80 speed on a defensive tackle. You go, wonder what that's about. And unfortunately, not the best rating there. But overall, an outstanding class from the Titans. A look at the top end. The best player is a guard who went pick 30 to the Dallas Cowgirls. Things a little bumpy to start year 3. I was kind of hoping we'd be 6-0 to build off of, AFC Championship game. We're fighting for our lives at 500. Our offense is a little slow out the gate. Defense is playing very nice. So, I mean, all it's going to take is for our offense to get a little bit hot here on the back end of the season. If we could cut being 20th to, take top 12, somewhere in that range, we'd be pretty happy. Look at contracts here. Jeff Simmons, yep, pretty much blank check territory. 2 years, done. Like, he feels like a guy got to retire at Titan. J.C. Latham, we declined his 5th-year option for this exact reason, to get ahead of a contract negotiation, 4-year deal, right-hand tackle, lined up. T'Vondre Sweat, here's an area where if we didn't have an insane amount of salary cap, I wouldn't. I just think he's one of, I think he's a fan favorite for the Titans. Nose tackle cheese will not replace actual good nose tackles. That's kind of my vibes on the matter. Outside of that, we got Calvin Ridley, who's been good. I mean, if you're only looking for a 1-year deal, I think very similar to like a T'Vondre Sweat. Vibes have been high with Calvin Ridley. Plus, he was our only wide receiver not named Scotty Wilson that did anything during that playoff run. We drafted Cushenberry's successor. I think we could probably keep Kobe Dean. Cody Barton's only going to regress. And yeah, we got Trenton Simpson, but they play different positions. Then we got L'Jarius Sneed looking for a 1-year deal. Here's where I'm going to let him hit the open market just in case there's a better corner that we can sign in free agency. And if he's the best corner in free agency, we'll bring him back. There we go. That's what we need off the bye week. Just smash the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's also why our offensive numbers were all kind of inflated, because we just had that bye week off. So it just tanks your numbers when you have your bye early. So we're actually not as bad as like 20th. At least in points scored. After one big game, we go from, up 6 spots. So let's keep it going. All right, we're still like winning some, losing some, but we're on a 2-game win streak. And within this 2-game win streak, Cam Ward was Week 12 Offensive Player of the Week with a 4-touchdown performance. He was also Week 11 Offensive Player of the Week with a 3-touchdown performance. Before we get to the end of the season, always a cool moment when we could take a homegrown player and welcome them to the 99 Club. Even better when it's at the end of their 2nd season ever in the NFL. But Scotty Wilson, you are generational. So at the end of the year, we end up with the same record as we had a year ago. I believe we won 4 in a row to close out the season. We got wins over Tampa, 10-7. Wasn't super impressive. But I mean, that's a playoff caliber team. And the Bucs tend to go fairly consistently far in the playoffs from the NFC side of the bracket in my experience here in Madden 26. Beat up the Dolphins, who are unfortunately not particularly good. And we are back in the wild card round, having to run a gauntlet against the 12-5 Buffalo Bills. Now, don't love the fact that our pass yards were so low. I mean, the points are all that matters. So we had a top 10 scoring offense. Our defense had their best season all along. But again, like it felt like last year, Cam Ward was turning a corner. The reality is this is his worst year of the rebuild. 22 touchdowns, unless he had 10 rushing touchdowns. Now, he did have 7 rushing touchdowns, so he finished 29. I don't love it. That's what I'll say. That will be my review of Cam Ward this season. Kind of in that football purgatory. Tajay Spears, over 1,000 yards. Scotty Wilson continues to be exceptional. 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns. But outside of that, we're just not getting, that proverbial, can we get 2,000-yard receivers in the sim type performance. Like, we haven't even been close. Now, the defense was very good. Shout out to Kobe Dean. Eladeja, 11 sacks. 10 from Jeff Simmons. 8.5 Nick Herbig. 7.5 Trenton Simpson. Okay. I like seeing that. Not a great year for T'Vondre Sweat, who we just gave a contract extension to. Defensively, L'Jarius Sneed, 5 interceptions. And, of course, we kind of scuffed our feet at giving him a contract extension in season. He just goes ahead and has an insane season. So that's great. And in the first round of the playoffs, we get the MVP. Yeah, let's go to roll. Now, good cool news is Brian Callahan wins Coach of the Year this year. I mean, again, I don't know. He's an offensive guy, and our offense was pretty mid, but we'll take it. We also have some dev trait unveiling. Don't know Overton's yet, but you know what? Let's give him the start over Cushenberry. Coleman, our guard, is just a star dev. I don't even think defensively would know their dev traits yet either. They haven't really got on the field. Holman is still a question mark. And our corner, Jeffers, is a star dev. So that's good. Didn't have one single breakout scenario all year. Which, I mean, in the case of like the Kobe Dean, who's getting a bunch of tackles every week, it's pretty harsh. Usually, like a middle linebacker on a normal dev that's getting like 10 tackles a week tend to get a dev trait scenario. But obviously, outside of that, offensively, very limited offense. So wasn't really expecting any dev traits. So let's go see if we can, on the road, Take down the MVP. The pageantry. Wow. Cool mascot. Great environment. For Buffalo being like the closest NFL team to where I live. A little surprised I've never been to a Bills game, even when the Eagles play them. I think it'd be a fun game to go to. Go through a table. I'd do it. I'd clip farm. But we're here for business. We need to take down the MVP. Not let them take this game over. First points go to Buffalo as expected. But they score, we respond. They're not that much better than us. And I think our defense is the tiebreaker. Our defense was better than their defense. Good defense should stop a good offense. Their defense was kind of middle of the mall. There we go. A one-score game in the fourth quarter. Good drive here. Touchdowns, what we're looking for. Let's go. 1-point lead. And we have a chance to kill the game off. 2:30 on our own 8. Is Cam Ward that dude? If he is, he will get a 1-point win here on the road. Yes! Cam Ward, down goes the MVP. Road win, these Titans. Damn, like we probably just put the nail in McDermott's head coaching career coffin. Losing like that with the MVP. That is it. That's a tough result. Now, I want to see the Cam Ward play clean football. No picks. He threw a pick every playoff game. He threw 2 picks. That has got to get rectified. We are not good enough as a team to win despite our quarterback. Like Cam Ward has what? 4 playoff games and 6 picks? That's not good. Shout out Amanor, shout out Scotty Wilson, shout out Tajay Spears. Defensively, got after it. 2.5 sacks. Oladejo, 2 sacks from Herbig. 1.5 from the underrated Nakobe Dean. And the Titans are moving on. And we get a great matchup in the divisional round. A chance at revenge. Last year's AFC Championship game where we lost the runners-up in our own freaking division. We had to watch them go embarrass themselves in the Super Bowl. We have a hell of a team. Top 10 rushing offense. The number 1 defense as far as points per game. Bring it on. Last year they beat us in our backyard. It's time to go and beat them in their backyard. NRG Stadium. Houston, Texas. Do they have a cool legend thing? That'd be cool. Some teams have that legend cutscene. Let's shout out Andre Johnson and Arian Foster. Get them involved. Okay. Well, last year, I think the difference was, they let their Tank Dell 100 yards, Nico Collins 100 yards. We just didn't have an answer to their wide receivers. And I don't love the fact red zone drive ends with field goal. We need touchdown, fellas. I mean, we're keeping this game ugly. But for a team that was incredibly stingy, points allowed, we are seeing that firsthand as we have no touchdowns. Come on, what? Honestly, a touchdown, we might win. Take it. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever. You had to probably go back a couple years in rebuilds to say when was the last time we won a playoff game without scoring a touchdown. All field goals. But I'm going to look at the positive. What a job by the Titans defense. Last year, the Texans moved the football up and down all day. And we shut them down here. And look, Cam Ward, for whatever it's worth, no picks. CJ Stroud with a costly interception. Revenge is served. A very ugly game. Scotty Wilson, 62 yards, 55 for A.U. Minor. Defensively, though, T'Vondre Sweat with 2 sacks, justifying that contract extension. Herbig with a sack. Nose tackle Cheese with a sack. Jeff Simmons with a sack and a huge pick. 6 on the season for Jeffery Sneed, who has absolutely earned a contract extension. But the Titans are back to back in the AFC Championship game, and we avenged last year's L. Let's go. That's good. And standing between us and a Super Bowl is the 11-6 Cincinnati Bengals, who have a top, well, I'll round it up, almost a top 5 scoring offense, the number 1 offense in terms of pass yards. But do you see what I see? That is still the same old Cincinnati Bengal defense. That is a complete liability. That's a good matchup for us, even on the road. But it's going to be on our defense that had played outstanding football this whole run, shutting down the league MVP, holding the Texans to only 7 points. We got another test here. In the poor weather, can we find a way to make Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase's life a living hell? Opening drive for the Bengals, they get field goal. The only bad thing is, like a rain game, we don't have a strong run game. So, wish we had Derrick Henry still. We're the first team to blink. Touchdown Bengals. We can only get a field goal. And we miss a short field goal to end the first half. We get a red zone opportunity here. And why are we not getting touchdowns? Okay, touchdown 2-pointer. We are tied at 17. Touchdown. This needs to be touchdown. And it is not a field goal. 24-17. What? This team of destiny at this point. Fuck yeah, man. Cam Ward. I'd love to see another game where he stacks no turnovers, but in a poor weather game where we can't run the football, Cam Ward, 88% completion percentage. He doesn't need to run the score up. Joe Burrow with 3 picks. There is the defense showing up. And the noise surrounding is Joe Burrow, just a regular season quarterback. That wasn't their defense letting them down today. Their defense did an all right job. It's Joe Burrow with a hat trick of interceptions. Whereas Cam Ward on the other side was lethally accurate. This is like we're the Bengals and we go up against the Titans in the playoffs when we're playing, like on all Madden. This is the kind of game that Cam Ward would have. Just annoyingly efficient. Our run game was non-existent. But Scotty Wilson, they did not have corners that could hang with Scotty Wilson. Hail Manor, the good showing. Tajay Spears has been a good weapon for us out of the backfield this whole playoff run. It feels like he gets a touchdown every other game. But the defense for the Titans is why we're in the Super Bowl. 2.5 sacks, 2 TFLs for Jeff Simmons. And the hat trick makes it look Jeffery Sneed with 2. Roger McCreary with 1. I mean, Sneed got that winning pedigree, right? He comes from the Chiefs, knows what it takes to win in the playoffs. And his game of the week performance has the Titans going to the Super Bowl as AFC champions. Now the Super Bowl is set, and it is the LA Rams, who are looking for a dynasty. They won the Super Bowl last year. They are a slightly better team than us, even though we're tied offensively. Top 10, this is number 9 offense versus number 10 offense. Number 2 passing offense, advantage to them there. But look at us. We have a much better and bigger advantage on the defensive side of the ball. They are 20th in points allowed. We are 3rd. And our defense has been proven throughout this playoff run to be playing out of their minds. Looking at the Rams statistically, they went out and drafted a quarterback, Matthew Andrews from Clemson. Let's see if there's just any abilities here. Is he like an X factor? Is there anything annoying that we have to deal with? He's a superstar. But is he a superstar or did he just earn it? So he earned it. He was a regular, like decent quarterback prospect. Star dev that played really well. So that's a rookie quarterback in the Super Bowl. He was not their quarterback last year when they won. Matt Stafford went out on top. Kyron Williams is efficient. Fook is a beast. 2,000-yard receivers. They get Caleb Mann. Caleb Mann actually was the other wide receiver that year that we drafted Scotty Wilson that looked pretty good in the first round. Got Trey Tucker. Shout out Raiders franchise. Jake Ferguson. So they've... okay. Defensively, we got a Jared Verse problem. 21.5 sacks for Jared Verse. 10.5 Thibodeau. 9 sacks from Fisk. Cameron Kitchens with 4 picks. They got Kyle Hamilton in free agency. Okay. Pretty good. Yeah. Feels right. We're going to win it. Let's do it in the Oilers. This is the matchup that's going to decide this. Right there. Cam Ward, who's a lot of playoff experience versus a rookie freaking quarterback. And this is a rematch that's 27 years in the making. Super Bowl 34 back in year 2000. The St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf, led by Kurt Warner, won MVP, defeated the Titans in one of the most probably agonizing losses in Titans history. 1 yard short, Kevin Dyson, better known as the Tackle. This is a game that we need revenge for. 27 years, Rams, Titans, back in the Super Bowl. That one was in Georgia Dome. This one in Miami. Let's see it. Rams won the Super Bowl last year, so they're trying to, kind of have a dynasty here. Oh, baby, that is a hot start. We don't want to get too confident because we had a hot start against the Texans, and then we ended up choking it. Come on, boys. Another touchdown. More points. Keep the lead. Kill the game off. No! You're blowing it again! 1 minute. Let's go! 27-year revenge. And I think if you're an old head, if an old Titans fan said you're going to get your first Super Bowl, what's the one NFC team you want to get it against? I bet you they'd say the Rams, even though they're not from St. Louis anymore. Those two teams have history. 27 years ago, the tackle happened. And it's been the most famous clip shown about Titans games and playoff success. And for 27 years, I've had to watch that. And all it took was drafting Cam Ward in a weak quarterback class and trading the farm to go get a true A.J. Brown successor and an X Factor, Vanilla Megatron. Vanillatron. And great defensive play. And the Titans, and look, it's Cam Ward, dude. We said our quarterback, we had to outduel a rookie. And Cam Ward probably had his best game all year, playing a little Jalen Hurts, saved his best for the Super Bowl, 390 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and all that. That was early. We hit him and beat, that's the combo. You see a generational guy, you go get him. You pay the price. Scotty Wilson, $159, 9 catches, hat trick. Defensively, no, we got the 2 sacks. I love that trade to go get Herbig. Worked out well. Let's go, man. Big old check mark. Successful Madden 26 Titans rebuild. So what we like to do at the end of every rebuild is take a little bit of a stat recap of what players were able to achieve and accomplish in their careers, including our rebuild. And Cam Ward, through 3 seasons, 11,000 yards passing, 81 touchdowns, 31 picks. He was good. Maybe not necessarily elite. Maybe 2 years ago he was pretty good. He had 37 touchdowns. But outside of that, I would say that we won as a team, not because our quarterback carried us through. That's kind of been our theme so far here in our Madden 26 rebuilds. We've yet to have really like an MVP quarterback. It's all been, honestly, drafting. We've been drafting out of our minds, and that certainly has helped. We went with Tajay Spears as our RB1, maybe a bold move to get rid of Tony Pollard. But I liked getting Herbig. He had obviously a huge sack in the Super Bowl win, so I think that was a trade that was worth making. But it is always just kind of weird when the Titans don't have a dominant run game. We definitely did not have a dominating run game. Spears maybe is best suited as a committee running back. Calvin Ridley was reliable throughout this rebuild. Amenor was reliable. But the man is Scotty Wilson. Trading the farm to get a wide receiver who in 2 seasons, his first 2 years in the NFL, 175 catches, 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and in the Super Bowl had a $159 and 3 touchdowns. He's Super Bowl MVP. Everything you could ask for. I don't regret that trade 1 minute. It was a ballsy trade to make. We gave up a lot of assets for a team that needed a lot of things, but we needed a wide receiver, and he was the wide receiver for us. Defensively, we got 67 sacks on 86 TFLs for Jeff Simmons, 34.5 for Herbig, 31 for Oladejo, who was a great player for us. And in the secondary, Ridley Sneed gets himself a superstar X Factor to end the rebuild. He was sick as well. So that'll do it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching our Madden 26 rebuild of the Tennessee Titans. We are now onward to our channel goal of 200,000 subscribers. So if it is your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. But what I need you guys to do is to comment down below which team you want to see rebuilt next. It was a toss-up for this rebuild between the Titans and the New York Giants. I think with the success of Jackson Dart in the preseason, kind of want to see how that works. Plus, Jackson Dart got absolutely dogged with his Madden 26 rating. Lowest first-round pick, no dev trait. So this is a fun challenge to try to make Jackson Dart good. So I'm leaning towards that. But any other team that you guys want to see, if we can get some momentum going in the comments, I will certainly push them up the short list of teams that I want to rebuild before we start getting into some realistic rebuilds, which we are still waiting on the PC draft classes for those to start. What I also need, if you want to know how you can help out the channel, just leave a comment for the algorithm if you don't want to vote on a rebuild team. Hit that like button. Those things help out the channel and the videos in the YouTube algorithm, and it's always a battle that we are competing with here on the channel to get this old videos and my content all the recommended of other people's franchise content, because there are more people out there that don't know what we're doing over here, and we gotta open their eyes. Come on over. We're having a party. We're chilling. The vibes are immaculate. Come hang out. But for everyone that did tune in this video, thank you guys very much. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one. College football's back today. Hope you're watching this during halftime.